force of Mother Nature can be abrupt and monumental. Terrified tourists capture the moment that a catastrophic 7.8 earthquake hits Bhaktapur, Nepal in April 2015. Centuries-old Hindu temples crumble from the violent shaking.
There's no safe place to go, and these things start collapsing around you. When the Earth moves this much, it almost acts like a liquid instead of like a solid, and most of the buildings just can't handle that type of motion.
8 miles west in Kathmandu, the quake rocks the ground at this busy roundabout.
You can see everybody's trying to scramble and get in the middle of the road. They're trying to get away from the buildings because in this particular circumstance, you don't have very sturdy buildings, and a lot of those are going to be coming down very hard and very fast.
People are also kind of being pushed around by truly waves kind of rippling through the blacktop there.
A monument collapses into the road, narrowly missing cars. After 50 seconds, the earthquake is finally over.
When we talk in seconds, it sounds short, right? But if you actually sit there and count 1, 2, 3, up to 50 seconds, and imagine the earth shaking for that long, that's horrifying. That's a very long time for you to not have any stability beneath you.
You think that you're on solid ground, and it just reminds you that everything that you're standing on, it's all rotating around the Earth on these real thin layers. You have the Indian plate moving northbound and crashing into Asia. That first plate slips dramatically and plunges several inches to several feet, and that movement jolts everything around. This drop is what creates some of the world's largest earthquakes.
The destruction in the region is staggering. More than 8,000 people are killed, and tens of thousands more are injured. Homes and priceless historical buildings are leveled.
This is catastrophic. When this is your hometown and your house and your temple and your monuments, it's heartbreaking to see something like this happen. It takes a long time to repair the infrastructure after an event like this.
Back in the U.S., in December 2012, a cargo train is passing through Washington State on a rainy day. What's about to happen next on these train tracks? Think you know the answer?
These are huge train cars tossed around like toys.
You have the mud, you have the rocks, you have all of the vegetation that's coming down with it, some of those trees coming down with the mud. If you have that much force, imagine if there was a person standing there.
Holy.
In the Pacific Northwest, you can get a lot of rainfall during these times of the year. Those heavy rains can destabilize some of the slopes, and as this train is coming by repeatedly, that's possibly destabilizing these slopes even further, vibrating the land around it. And that could, unfortunately, even trigger a landslide such as this.
You have vegetation there, you have the deep roots, and it holds everything together, including all the dirt. But you notice that part of the hill is already exposed. You have nothing holding that soil there, and that becomes just like liquid and came right across the train tracks.
A total of 7 train cars are derailed by the landslide, but no one is injured. From the land to the sky. February 2013. Dash cams in Russia record a 10,000-ton meteor streaking through the sky.
Nobody knows it's coming because of the path that this thing was on. It was too close to the sun for our detectors to know it was there.
You don't know if it's a missile. You don't know if it's a plane coming down. You don't have any idea what it is.
This had to have been absolutely terrifying. I mean, imagine yourself standing outside, you see something streaking across the sky, you have no idea what it is, what direction it's going, and what's going to happen next.
The fireball is creating a massive 300-mile-long trail in the sky.
Meteors are part rock, but often part ice. And so our atmosphere adds all this drag and all this friction, and that adds heat. And a lot of that ice starts to melt. And sometimes it goes to liquid water and then to gas, and well, that's what clouds are made of, right?
The heat generated from the dramatic plunge through the atmosphere is breaking apart the meteor. And suddenly, it explodes in a ball of fire nearly 15 miles above the Earth's surface.
The fireball itself is brighter than the sun. And then the explosion sends a shockwave out in all directions.
And then boom, here come these sound waves. Breaking glass all over the place, obviously freaking people out in office. They have no idea what this is.
All of that friction and all of that speed that was accompanying this object as it moved into the atmosphere produced a tremendous amount of energy. And when this exploded, that energy was felt in the form of the shockwave. When that shockwave hit those windows and hit the people, it just exploded everything around the area.
Most of the meteor's energy was consumed by the atmosphere, but the shockwave still collapsed roofs and injured more than 1,000 people, mostly from shattered glass.
What was left of this meteorite left a crater about 26 feet in diameter, and that was likely from, just a smaller part of the object that it hit. This is a great example of the Earth's atmosphere acting to protect us from these types of objects as they came in. And so most of the meteorites that enter the Earth's atmosphere do burn up because of the tremendous friction.
But this one was big enough and came in at the right angle so that it didn't have the kind of force to actually break up in the atmosphere before it got close enough to the ground to do this kind of damage.
Time to test your knowledge about meteors. Meteors are sometimes observed with colorful trails that are caused by the ionization of gases in the atmosphere, like oxygen, which appears green. Metals from the meteor itself, like iron, can also burn up and vaporize, emitting a colorful light show. Coming up, dangerous winter weather. And a day on the ice turns into an emergency.
Every minute you're in the water, your life is more and more in danger.
When Weather Gone Viral continues.